let you go and bring in my guest for this hour. Trial attorney Rachel Fiset is with me. Rachel, always a pleasure to see you.
Hi, Michael. Nice to see you.
Let's start off by talking about, let's see, where will I begin? I'm going to begin with the marriage counselor, because I think she was an important witness, because she's someone, of all the people we've heard thus far, she's really the only one that either doesn't have a stake in this case or doesn't have an axe to grind. I think Katie James, who was the assistant, clearly had an axe to grind. She's sort of down the middle. She was seeing them as a couple, and it was clear. She said, hey, they were abusing each other. This was a mutually abusive relationship. My question to you is, how does that resonate with the jury? How do they hear that? They heard both people hit each other.
To me, that is a really strong witness for Ms. Heard. That whether that she's abusing him or not is slightly not that relevant. Apparently and obviously, I'd say these two had an incredibly rocky relationship. And I think all of the testimony coming forward is going to show that a lot of things were said and done inside of this relationship. But the marriage counselor testifying that at the time, Ms. Heard had told her that she was abused and that she saw it, I think that that testimony is incredibly powerful and weighs in favor of Ms. Heard a lot.
Yeah, and you know, I'm going to stay on this line of questioning because this is where my struggles with this case is, Rachel. That's clear. It's clear. She saw, well, she says they admitted to hitting each other. But I think we're going to continue to hear evidence of what a bad person Amber Heard was, the fact that she was abusing Johnny at various points. The only thing I can think of that the Depp side is going to argue is that maybe when he had to hit her, it wasn't self-defense. So will that make a difference? Are you not an abuser as a male hitting a female under those circumstances if she is being abusive, physically abusive to you?
I think that the testimony, again, is incredibly favorable to Heard, even if at the end of the day, she comes out looking like a terrible person or that she's been abusing him. Because remember, defamation has a malice element. And what did she think was happening? Even if he's throwing cell phones at her in self-defense, which also seems a little odd, I think that you can definitely get in her head and she could still believe she was a survivor of domestic violence if it's shown that she is hit at all. So even if even if Depp is showing, okay, fine, I did hit her, but I had a reason to, I still think on the elements of defamation and what she thought she was enduring at that time, this witness's testimony that she said at that time that she was hit, I really just think it's really favorable to Ms. Heard.
All right, fair enough. My only issue is maybe this jury looks at the stance that she took and the things that she wrote as pontificating when perhaps she was not really holier than thou. She had her own role to play in it and was in fact perpetrating that type of thing against Johnny Depp as well. I wonder if that plays into their decision. We don't know. All right, Rachel, stand by. Both sides in the Depp and Heard case are pointing fingers at each other. Heard's team claims that she's the victim. Depp's side says that she's the instigator. Up next, we're going to look at some of the testimony about the pair's volatile relationship.